at 8 o'clock, y'all. We've just been sitting here steadily talking, and I looked up at the screen, and it said preview, and I looked at the comments, and I saw somebody say, they said they'd be here in just a minute, and I was like, Jason, he's like, oh crap, I forgot to push the button. We needed that.
Okay, so everybody, hold on just 1 second. Let's do this the right way.
Oh, okay.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, God.
Lord have mercy, y'all. Okay, so we really needed this laugh. We really did. And thank you, Lord, for providing us with this mistake to be able to give us this laugh. Oh, thank you, Lord. Right now, the Lord is really teaching us to be able to, as Jess told Robyn the other day, that we are being given the opportunity to stretch and grow our trust muscle. And wow, has that been in full effect since we made our announcement. But what happened, the reason why we was on so late, and then we were talking to the screen here, because we got two monitors up here, and one has the OBS. Well, the way that you have to go live on YouTube now, there's a couple of different hoo-yahs that you got to do, and you got to go live on OBS first, and then it comes over, and you're not officially live until you hit the live on the YouTube part.
And so we're watching the chat.
Like, we're watching the chat going, and we're talking to y'all, and I'm saying hi to this person, that person. Hey, Cattywampus. Hey, Mimsy. Hey, Broussard. Hey, Cecilia. Hey, Dutch. Hey.
And we figured y'all were all talking to each other, so we weren't,
And so we told you guys the whole story about the phone call already. No. Right before we were getting ready to go live, I was out here. Excuse me, getting everything going, and Carol came out here and said I had to come in the house. Mommy needs me. So Robyn got a phone call from her aunt, who is originally in Louisiana, but she's up in New York right now.
They have a daughter who lives up in Schenectady, and so they're up in Schenectady right now, Lake Placid area, visiting with them, and they had just been to see my grandmother on Christmas. Like, they went up there Christmas Day and day after Christmas or whatever. And so then she went back up to Schenectady to go see her family. Mm-hmm. So yesterday they got a phone call, and about a month and a half ago, my grandmother fell. My grandmother's 98 years old. And she fell, and she was bruised pretty good, but she was in good spirits. She was fine. Everything was good. So when they saw her at Christmas, she had healed up. Everything was good to go. And today they got a phone call that yesterday she had fallen again. But this time, and I'm not sure what's going on, but she fell to the point where she had 50 stitches in her head. She's broken her cheekbone. She's skinned her knee. She's done something to her elbow. Like, she's not in good shape. And she's 98 years old. So she's already frail. And to take a hit to the head that would cost 50 stitches. And then she had stitches above her eyebrow. Like, there's a bunch of stitching. So they kept her overnight. From what I remember, of course, I was in shock listening to it because I was thinking she was just going to tell me that she was dead. But she said that they decided to take her back to the hospital, and I think that was within the last hour. My aunt, who lives in Pennsylvania, texted my aunt and said, "Hey, this is what's going on. They're taking her back to the hospital." So they took her took her back, and then within like 30 minutes of getting that first text message, she got another saying, I'm not telling y'all what to do, but I really think y'all need to kind of come this way because I don't think she's taking a turn. So we don't know if it's like her blood pressure or if she's just... my aunt said that she... it could be a brain bleed, but she's not sure of that because when they took all the CT scans and stuff yesterday, everything was clean. So she said she's really not sure what it is. But I have a piece about this. I think it's her time. I think she's been here for a long time without my grandfather, and she's had a chance to really visit with all of my aunts and like really get to spend good quality time with them. She's lived in a really nice facility for the last couple of years that's taken really good care of her. Her memory's not the greatest. When we went to visit back, I was trying to just get out of your way so I didn't knock anything over.
Carol's got you gunshot.
But when we were up there in April, we went up to the Meyer thing, and on the way, my husband in his infinite wisdom said, hey, your grandmother's 97 years old. We're kind of going in that direction. Why don't we stop by and go see her? And so we did, and we had an excellent visit with her. It was really funny to watch because Jason and I have both dealt with Alzheimer's and dementia before, so we kind of know what to expect, but our daughters didn't. And so while we were there, she asked some of the same questions over and over again. And the girls got to the point where, like, because they would see a pattern developing. And so she would say something about homeschool, because she would remember that they homeschooled. Mm-hmm. But then she would ask them, the funny question was if they had boyfriends. And so what was hilarious is she would ask about homeschool, and then the girls would say, no, she would say, what was your favorite subject? And so they knew the question was coming. So Carol,
and she would go, ask if they had friends, and then
ask
if
they
you got
had
many friends. Yes, ma'am. You have any boyfriends?
Yeah. So what would happen is they would say, we're homeschooled. And she would say, oh, yeah, you're homeschooled. And then Carol would say, and my favorite subject is science. And Lidessa would say, my favorite subject is this. And then they would go, and we have a lot of friends. Like, they would tell the whole story before she could ask the questions. So yeah. So it was a good visit. But I kind of feel like it's her time. So we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of waiting for a text message to say, funeral's gonna be in a couple of days. So
she is an amazing woman. Robyn's grandfather is an American hero. He served during World War II. And not only did he serve this great nation as a fighter pilot in World War II, he was shot down and was a POW. Yep. And one of the things that makes that really significant is he comes from a Polish descent and was married to a German girl fighting for the Americans. Mm-hmm. And so you can imagine how well he was treated. Mm-hmm. By those individuals during that time. Mm-hmm. So I ask you guys to pray for Robyn's grandmother. Pray for her family. Pray for Robyn. Pray for everybody in the family. Travel mercies, because if grandmom does pass, it is a very large family. There was 7?
She had 6 daughters. Each daughter had 3 children, basically. So there was 18 grandkids. Each grandkid has had at least 2 or 3. So there's great grandchildren out there, so, and some of those great grandchildren are old enough to be driving. It's like Blaze, and so there's a lot of people, and each one of those grandchildren. So like me, we all have our own families as well. So there's going to be, if she passes, we'll have to go, and it's gonna be interesting. So thank your family for my freedom. You're welcome. I will definitely let them know that. So all of that to say, we have had one heck of the last couple of days.
That's the best way to put it. We've been stretching. How does Jess say it? Stretching
our trust muscle. So it kind of started. So on New Year's Day, nothing really crazy. We had the Naked Gardener, who just showed up in the chat. We had him over, and we learned how to make collard greens the good way. And we had a ham, which we had purchased before. It was, stored. I mean, I'd actually bought 2 of them because they were on sale. And then we looked at some seeds, did some stuff. I think we did our look back of the decade on that day. So then...
you can't graze over that. We had our premiere come out on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And we, you guys were very supportive, showing lots of love, and y'all were getting it just as excited as us.
Did Jason eat his cheese?
And the Naked Gardener came and ate and fell asleep on my couch, cuddled with my dog. My dog hasn't been the same since. And then he left, and we came on here, and we went live to try to basically look at from when we started homesteading to present day, because we started this journey in 2006. And so since we figured since it was going from 2019 to 2020, we were changing over to another decade. Mm-hmm. It was time to do a full-on kind of review, because we started our YouTube channel 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm. And so it was time to do a whole look back. And we were laying it out there, spilling our guts and forgiving people and worshiping and having a good time, and my phone rang.
No.
Yes. My phone rang.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, who is this number? And I answered it, and it was some guy from down the road, and Daisy was out. And so we sent Blaze to the back pasture to double check and make sure that it was her, and sure enough,
it was her.
It was her. So, my other neighbor, good friend of mine, his name is Pete. He put him up with his cows.
That's right.
And then we went back the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
which was the second.
Mm-hmm. Picked her up. We did a live stream walking her home.
Yep.
Talking all about it.
Hey, Mama Cher.
And then she stayed.
All day.
All day.
Perfectly
all day
fine.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Then, first thing bright and early this morning, Daisy was out again.
You get a phone call. Hey, I was going to check on my calves, and
your cow's up here.
Your cow's up here on a walkabout again.
Yep. So we were up there. We got a call from the hay guy. He was coming today, and boom. We were like, okay, fine. She's just out hungry because we overseeded the pastures.
April, send that to me in
a month ago.
An instant message, please.
And everything's coming up, but it's still not really tall enough for cows.
Yeah, and what's happening is as it grows taller, they're eating it down faster than it can grow back up. And that's why a lot of people use hay, and typically we have enough grass, but I don't know. I think this is the first...
We were just dry too long.
No, that's not what it is. This was the first year where those calves are older. Mm-hmm. See, the first winter, they didn't eat as much. now that they're older, they're a year older, they've put more of an imprint on our pasture. And so basically what happened is we needed to supplement with some hay, and we hadn't gotten any yet. So we had them come out. They brought out 3 hay rolls, and while we were back there, and I had just gone to check on Daisy a couple hours previous. Mm-hmm. I went and took some more pictures. We did some video and some stuff like that. Everything was great. And she was on the whole other side of the pasture, so I was thinking, she's not over on the side where we were pretty sure that she was coming, jumping, and so I thought, she's good. We knew the hay guy was coming. Mm-hmm. So we went back there to give her the hay, and no Daisy.
Gone again.
So Blaze was home. So Blaze jumped the fence and started to track where he thought she had gotten out.
Well, it being so wet, it wasn't a very hard track.
No, because of how... and I mean, really, the ground right now, you barely step, and you go down like 3 inches.
Yeah.
What did you use with the elderberry syrup? Because mine's not tart at all. The stuff that we got from Broussard, when you cook it down and do what you're supposed to do, and then put honey in there, it makes it super sweet. Like, my kids even will drink it. So I don't know, maybe see what you can do about getting some honey if you hadn't used honey.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So long story short, Robyn went and started walking, looking for her, because we told Blaze, said he walked the fence line twice and swore up and down that she had to be jumping the fence. And I'm pushing the round bales around, cutting off the netting, mm-hmm. and I hear, "Are you kidding me?" And then...
Hey, Mama Mitzi.
Then my bride. Now look, I love Robyn. I've been married to this wonderful, beautiful woman for 14 years. I know by her walk, whether to run up, baby, are you okay? Run up, give her a hug and console her and be the rock. And I know when to run the other direction. The walk that she was doing up the pasture was...
Get out of my way.
I tried to crawl inside said round bale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was adjusting the hay bales, and she's probably going to punch me. But every time she walks like this, all I hear... See, you know it! From the Wizard of Oz.
Yep. Hello, wild man. Welcome.
And so I
you were holding the bike.
And so I just said, couldn't find Daisy? No, Daisy's out. And she kept walking. Okay.
I know she's out. And and the thing is, the beginning of the morning when we were doing what we were doing, I was walking I walk fast. And Jason doesn't walk as fast because of his hip, and everything else that he's got going on. He can't walk the way that I do. So I went ahead and kept walking, and I got up and I went to call Jason's phone and realized Jason didn't have his phone, and I called Blaze because I sent Blaze over the fence. I was like, go track her. I'm going around with the car. I'll go back to where she was this morning and see if we can head her off at the pass. So so then Jason was a good, 15 yards behind me. And I come through, I called Carol back, realized that Jason didn't have his phone on him, and Carol did. So I called her and said, grab the lead, grab your dad's phone, meet me out at the car. So by then I'd gotten in the car, had pulled the car around. Jason got in the car and we took off. And we
Hey, George.
Went around back to where she was the day before, or that morning, and she wasn't there. And then we went, and we weren't looking. We were looking in pastures. Mm-hmm. And so we looked to the right where we had gotten her that morning. We were looking at the left because that's the area that connects to our pasture. And it's full of winter wheat right now. So we figured we might see her. And she's black and stands out against that green. So we knew we'd see her. And thank God it was not dark yet. Because when it's dark, she is a bear to try and get. I mean, like, she is ridiculous. So we drove down there. We got all the way up to where she was the very first night where they had caught her up. And we decided we'd turn around and come back. Well, as we were coming back, we stopped at Pete's to look in his pasture. And there was one that kind of looked like Daisy.
From a distance.
But when she finally turned around, she wasn't big enough to be Daisy. So we're okay.
She was solid black. She didn't have any
She
white.
had white, but she didn't have as much as Daisy does. So we got back in the car. Went to going up, and as we were coming up the hill, we saw Blaze, and he was tracking her hooves, and he was coming up to the road. And then he didn't know which way to go from there. Well, we come up the hill, and back to where we had been that morning.
And I'm like, right there she is.
And there she was. She was in somebody's pasture, okay? Well, in the meantime, a truck had passed us, and I recognized the truck as somebody I work with, and he lives kind of back in that area. And so I had pulled in to go and help Jason, and I went down there because Blaze went to go talk to him and ask him if it was his, because he didn't recognize him. Asked him if it was his pasture. He's like, no, but I was here when he had come down to go to the store. He said that the sheriff's department was out there trying to corral Daisy. They never called us because they have our number. They know that we have her. They never called us. They didn't call anybody because Pete had not heard about it. Sid had not heard. Like, nobody called us. So we're not really sure where that, maybe somebody just wanted to eat up his time before he had to get off shift or something. Maybe. I don't know.
But I think I'm going to have LaDessa make her a paracord collar that we can put a tag.
If found, call. It needs to be really big because
if I'm on a walkabout, please call my owners.
She does. She definitely needs like a collar that's got
and
her.
Put a big bell on it, like make it big, like she's a cow Flavor Flav.
But so, Blaze and Jason got back in that pasture. She kind of tried to run for the hills, and Blaze got out in front of her. They backed her back into a corner, and it's really funny because once she realizes that she's up against a fence
and she's cornered,
you can see her whole demeanor change. She goes from being like ready to run to like her whole body just frumps, and she puts her head down. Like, doesn't she? She did, and Blaze started to walk a little closer. She just put her head down, like, just go ahead, put it on. I'm done. Yeah. So Sydney said he wants to name the fence Moon, so it's the cow jumping over the moon.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I heard the "Are you kidding me?" and the doot 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 doot, Robyn found 2 big holes in the fence. Like, she was just literally like, she wasn't even jumping. She was just walking over.
There was a tree that's been down. But there was still a barbed wire that was going through the fence that was up high enough.
Well, we couldn't do anything with the tree because it was a large tree and it was stuck into another tree on our neighbor's property and was kind of just like hovering there. And so we brought the fence up as high as we could to the tree. Right. But I guess with the storms and stuff, it pretty much fell all the way down. Now, is what you're saying. Yeah, and I think what happened, and I'm not sure, but I really feel like he probably didn't go back that far. I think he was thinking it was up closer because of where we found her. And so it's still not an excuse, but it's, it's whatever. Like, you just can't. Hey, Kaylee. Pomona Ponderosa said, we did that once, corralled 8 loose cows on a busy road. Sheriff came and put them in the pasture. They were we're supposed to be across the street. So, in our experience here, we've been here 6 years. We have been nothing but thankful
for this county. Our sheriff's department has been extremely awesome helping us with these cows.
What's up, Homestead?
Now, in the past, we have had, you're talking about 8. Grow where you're planted. What's up? We have had the call a couple years ago. We had the call to come get all of our animals. We
numerous
had
times
2 sheep, the donkey. We had a bull or a steer, a big steer, and then the 2. It was Daisy and her baby, and so
and a donkey.
And I said the donkey.
Oh, okay.
And so that was fun. Trying to corral all of them was crazy, and that's what we're kind of having. Going back and forth with, because when it first happened that first night, we thought maybe we didn't know if she got bounced or what happened. One guy that we talked to said that he saw her bag was full. He said, yeah, she's bred. Pete said, I don't know, I didn't see her. So next morning, I go to work. I see Jason online walking her back. And he's like, her bag's completely deflated. She's not showing signs of being ready to throw.
Pete did also say, he told me, you got to remember, that bag's not going to start filling up till she's about 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks
4 to 6 weeks. So if you put that bull in there in April.
Hey, Amy, I saw you. I'm sorry.
He may not have been able to get her till end of May, June.
Right.
Because there is that time period when you introduce a new bull that they're still trying to figure out who the boss is.
You got to learn what to feel for with the old arm up the bum.
Yep.
We really do. I think we probably need to figure something out.
Yeah, we need to have somebody come down and teach us that, so then that way we can put her in the chute and no more games.
Yeah. So, but I will tell you, I've been walking behind her, and she looks awfully wide compared to what she normally does. Oh, and I didn't answer you, Cheryl. I'm sorry. No, she is not being bullied in any way, shape, or form. She is actually...
She was the alpha until we brought the bull in.
Right.
And I think the bull is now the alpha.
I don't know, though. But I do have pictures, and I will post them on... I'm trying not to, flood Facebook and Instagram, but I'm getting some really great pictures. When we took her back this morning... I stayed back there with her for a good while, and she walked up and she called everybody. They were all in the back, and she started that low moo that she does, and everybody came from out in the woods to her, and her daughters came up first, and then the bull came up. And when the bull came up, they were like this, and she put her head down, and he licked her head. And he got up underneath her her mouth and lifted her head up and was licking up underneath her neck. He was grooming her he was acting affectionate for whatever it's worth for a bull. But, I mean, I don't know if it was, their BFFs or, I don't know. But it was, they definitely were, chummy.
I don't think she's bullying because Robyn would have, as much time as Robyn spent back there. Yeah. If she was bullying, what they call bullying right now, which means she's in heat, she's looking to get some.
She is not in standing heat, I can tell you that right now, because the girls weren't riding her.
Right.
Nobody's riding her.
Nobody's even really paying that any attention.
I do not believe she's in heat. From our experience, when they're in heat or in standing heat, everybody's jumping on them. Mm-hmm. And nobody was jumping on her, nothing like that.
And even when she's around other cows and that other, that other bull, Pete's bull, wasn't paying her any attention. No. And then this other section of cows,
nobody was messing with her.
Nobody was messing with her, smelling around her girl parts or anything like that. So still stands a good chance that she may be bred, but we may not be looking at getting a calf now till February, March, maybe even April. But that just means we got to lean on cattywampus more.
Now, Homestead in the Highlands has been very helpful over the last couple of days, trying to help me kind of wrap my brain around this. And there were a couple of things that she brought up that could be possibilities. One could be that he didn't breed her or it didn't take as early as we think it may have, because there's a possibility that the first or maybe second cycle he was shooting stuff that wasn't any good. So it's a possibility that it just may be that he's a little bit further, she's not as far along as we think she is. The other thing is like what she was just saying, and this is definitely something to keep in mind. She said when they're walking as much as they're walking, some of that inflation could go down. So she may be just in the very beginning of getting ready to start filling up that bag, and it's not staying full because she's doing all that walking. Mm-hmm. One of my theories is that I think she knows the other animals that are in that pasture, minus the 2 calves that were just born in that pasture and then brought immediately over to us. Well, the one.
Yeah, because Calf Bell.
Yeah, Calf Bell was born here. They've not been out. Yeah. So they don't know about the pastures that are out there. But Daisy does, since we've been here. So she knows that there's greener pastures somewhere else. So she's just going to feed herself. I mean, that's just all there is to it. But the other guys they're not starving. I mean, I went out there and looked at everybody. I checked everybody's, everybody is fine. They're not starving. But my theory is if she's pregnant and she needs more calories and more food, she's doing that because she's with calf. So I'm thinking that it's a possibility that, yes, she does have a calf because she's going out looking for more food than everybody else. So that's where I'm going right now, because like Jason was saying, she's not showing any signs of being in heat or anything like that. So that typical, I'm eating for 2, a little tuft of grass here and there is not cutting it for her when she knows there's wheat right on the other side of the fence. And that there's huge tufts of grass just down the road.
So we have 3 round bales out there right now. We also got a mineral block and a salt block.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that you noticed when we went to go pick her up out of that pasture. There was a salt lick and a mineral lick out there.
And she was tearing it up.
So that's what we did. So yeah, April, that's what we were thinking is maybe by giving her the minerals and the supplements, that will probably, help.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did have to purchase this hay because the guy was not interested in any type of barter whatsoever, and same
which we kind of knew was gonna
with the same thing with the mineral blocks. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I have to research now is what is in those mineral blocks and salt licks that they need so much that I could supplement with growing stuff here. And and then the other thing is we've got to figure out. See, we have 21 acres, but I don't have a tractor or hay equipment to be able to
make more hay in my back pasture. And some of you guys like Chris and Cattywampus and a couple of others that have been here and know the layout, know that I could make, I got a whole second half pasture that I could make hay if I had the equipment. Now, one of the things that I'm going to try to do this summer, and it's all because of Duncan 1900. Good night, never enough time.
Duncan 1900 knew I was interested in trying to get a scythe to try to hand cut my pasture to be able to put it up as hay.
Right.
Now, I was not able to
Good night, Appalachian.
get that scythe until Homesteaders of America. Mm-hmm. I had to clean up the blade and sharpen it up some, and then probably restructure the handle, or maybe just order a new one to fits my size, because they are size specific, and try to do it that way and put it up like they did back in the day. Now, I know right offhand that is going to help with my girlish figure big time. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Everything that I look on with the scythe, it seems it's going to be time consuming. It's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, so Homestead has a good point. She said we factored in the cost of the equipment and actually found that it was cheaper to allow someone to do it for us and pay a portion. Now, that's still a possibility, because when we were looking for hay, we found a couple of people that are looking for pastures to cut. Mm-hmm. And what they'll do normally with you is they take all the hay and they pay you to rent it or to lease it, or they pay you, they take 60 and you take 40 or whatever %. So that's the thing, is like, there's a possibility that we could get somebody, or 50-50, get somebody to come and cut it, and they get to keep half and we get to keep half, because we really don't need a whole lot. It's just enough to give, because like I was telling Jason, I feel like with this hay that we got, it's going to give the grass some time to catch up. Because we had thrown out some pasture mix about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And it's coming up. I was telling Jason, like, we've got little patches, because some of it was wheatgrass. And there's pieces of wheatgrass. You can see them coming up, plain as day. So it's just that it's not quite tall enough for them, because cows need the taller stuff to eat. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is we're going to have the hay to kind of give the grass a chance. With all this rain that we're having, it's perfect, because that grass will start to grow.
And we will be able to overseed again in the wintertime faster. And then hopefully by this spring, we will have it sectioned off, so that way we can really start to do intense grazing and be able to really start to rock and roll back there. Mm-hmm. And so we won't run into this issue again. Again, a lot of our stuff, y'all, and for those that have been here visiting, and of course we have an open gate policy, just let us know that you're coming. Yeah. You're more than welcome to come.
Anytime.
Is that we have a lot of reclaiming back to do.
Well, and that's what Chris was just saying. You're going to gain ground quick when you get the goats in the tree lines. Yeah. Because they'll start to clean up some of that stuff that, where we can get back in and seed and do some stuff back there too.
So that was one of the conversations, and Chris is kind of privy and a little bit behind the scenes with this, is because
we're bouncing ideas off of him.
Well, when we went to pick Daisy up the next morning, and y'all, I was kind of devastated. Devastated is not the right word. I felt like I got kicked in the teeth. Yeah. Because I'm like, great, we got fooled again by her rumen. Because Daisy is a very healthy cow.
Yes.
And I did a bump test, and I wasn't getting anything. I might have been doing it wrong. Okay, be the first to admit, might have been doing it wrong. And
Naked Garter said, I'm coming this weekend. Paul said it was locked and closed.
Come on. Both of y'all can come.
Single Dad said, they won't let me come anymore. Whatever.
And so I was like, how am I going to... Because this was a hard sell to this one without dairy. And dairy, from our perspective, if Delma and Daisy are prego and they throw, that is a huge win for us, because not only will we have milk, but we'll have the butter, and with the help from Cattywampus learning how to make cheese, we will then have cheese. But the big thing is we will have extra milk to be able to pour our pigs, which will then take any feed that we give them, whether we're out collecting acorns, black walnuts, the stuff that we grow, dice up and dehydrate, it will stretch it 10 times longer. And then any of the leftover from making the cheese and the butter can go to the chickens. And a lot of these things are a huge, huge asset to us. And I felt like we were setting ourselves up to succeed when we started planning this, and we got the bull and we tried to set it up just right, so that way we could do this. And so we sat down. Chris volunteered to cook dinner, and praise Jesus, he did not fill the house up with smoke this time. And the Lord was on our side with that. The Lord was like, they've had a bad enough day, Chris. You're just not going to burn anything today. I bless you.
Well, you didn't have an oven to burn anything in, so.
Yeah. And so we started the discussion. And Robyn was talking with Cattywampus about where they got their goats, and she hooked them up. She hooked Robyn up with a person, and Robyn started talking with them, and so we look like that, and they may be open.
I don't know. They may be. Yeah.
They may be open for some barter, to where we can get a small goat herd and possibly a dairy sheep herd. We are not saying that we're going to get that. We are saying we are in discussion about the sheep.
Well, I'll tell you, and I don't know if you remember this, but Katie had dairy sheep. Remember, we were talking about how she was milking sheep, and I did remember that. But when I was talking to this lady, she was asking me basically, like, how much experience do you have? Like, what do you know? What don't you know? Basically, where do I need to start to talk with you? And I told her about our background and everything, and she said that that they would be open to talk to us a little bit. We'd have to come visit and everything. So there she is. She's like, dairy sheep. So they have dairy sheep and dairy goats, but they also have I'm to believe they have cows and chickens and things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to go over there and see if there's anything that we could, possibly work out with them.
And I want to do a little sidebar right here.
Wait, before you do that, I have one question. Cheryl, you were saying lunch on the left, romance on the right. Is that facing the cow or is that from behind the cow? Just saying.
I want to do a sidebar real quick. And I want to talk about the community for a second. There are some very knowledgeable individuals, families, in my chat box right now. Huge things of knowledge that they either just started their YouTube channel, or they really haven't let the cat out of the bag about their knowledge.
That they do as much as they do. Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but their knowledge and experience I would put up against anybody out in the YouTube world that claim that they know about goats and sheep. And that is the Shoemakers, a.k.a. Butcher, Baker,
Queso
Maker, and Cattywampus.
Huh? On sheep?
Not on sheep, but Cattywampus on goats.
Oh, I was like, she doesn't.
Cattywampus has really there is a couple videos at Cattywampus that y'all need to go watch.
Mm-hmm.
And
They've
look,
got some really good information.
I am. You guys know that we're friends with these folks, but I'm not just saying this because we're bros. I'm saying this because it's for real. Because when we started having serious conversation about goats and dairy sheep, we started going to reliable sources that we knew, and I knew the butcher, baker, and Quizno maker. I knew.
Maker. You got something about Quiznos. Did you eat Quiznos a lot when it was a thing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I might have.
So yeah, they do. Now, what I didn't know,
I'll just start calling them the butcher, the baker, and the stink up your bathroom maker.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get him to stop that one. But I wasn't aware that Chris had a dairy goat. I knew he had goats, but I did not know they were dairy goats.
Yes.
So I never thought to ask him because I did not know that his goat was a dairy goat. So.
But Cattywampus.
Yes.
Cattywampus Acres. They're in the chat box right now. They have a video out, and it's titled, and before we had the thing with Robyn's grandmom, I had it memorized, but now I really don't. It's like, how do you treat a sick goat, or anyway.
It's the one about their sick goat.
About their sick goat. Which, Cattywampus, please put the link to that video up, because you guys do have a wrench.
She doesn't have a wrench.
Yes, she better have a wrench.
She does not. No wrench. You about to have a wrench.
Got a wrench now.
So you can put it up there. But yeah, they did. And then they also did another one about trimming hooves, which was very good. And so that's nice too.
But seriously, Cattywampus, please put your link to that video about this, about, what was that?
Your sick baby.
What was that baby's name? It's the hard one to milk.
No.
That's what the girl said.
No, that's Jolene. She's not. No, it was the two babies that we saw them with.
Yeah. Anyway, the little black baby that was sick and y'all went through.
How to save a sick goat. There you go.
Talk about a super I was like texting Jason. I'm like, dude, this is a really good video. And then about halfway through it, I was like, dude, this is an awesome video. There is a tremendous amount of information about taking care of a sick goat in that video.
Eleanor. The other one was Phyllis.
If you have goats, it's definitely a must. In my opinion, it's a must-see video.
Definitely. Named after her grandma.
If somebody else would put some videos out about dairy sheep, because she
doesn't have her flock right now.
Sitting in my living room, I can't necessarily tell everybody to go to that living room session.
But I think she has. See, I haven't watched a lot of their videos, but she just sitting and talking with her. She's a wealth of knowledge.
And I'm not talking about like Wikipedia knowledge.
No.
There's
like
some folks out there that's got YouTube channels that got Wikipedia knowledge. Just saying. Got Wikipedia knowledge on Bridge. Right. But these folks have real life, been through it, had to roll their sleeves up, experience, knowledge. So, just saying.
Yeah.
And that's what you kind of have to. I'm gonna keep talking over you. I'm not done. And that's what I'm talking about. This is what this community is about. It's full of it, and wow. So they're in here. You thinking about goats? Those are the folks that you go to.
Now, for real, also, Homestead in the Highlands is very knowledgeable about all rumens. All rumens.
Yeah, but you can't understand what she's saying.
I can understand just fine what she's saying. She doesn't speak the Queen's English.
I don't know what she's speaking, but she got words for stuff, and I'm like Bassards. That's another one. Look,
the Broussards.
I love Brett to death, but Brett's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you down to my little bayou that I got over here." And he went and walked, and we were Marco Polo. I said, "Man, that's a creek. That's not a bayou. That's a creek." A bayou is a marshy land at the end of a river or a lake.
Wanderlust. I don't know. We've never dehulled them. We've let them fall off the ground, and they just crack into them. So,
yeah. So, yeah. It is 2020, y'all.
If anyone wants any information about dairy sheep, they can reach out to her. Yeah.
It's 2020. On the 3rd day of January in 2020, we received the best quote of 2020 so far. 2 of them. Yeah. 2 of them. Mm-hmm. Number 1 and number 2. Number 1 comes from a gorgeous little girl by the name of Frank.
Sweetheart.
Absolutely love her. You have to bribe her for hugs. Absolutely love her. But she was on the way to our dinner table, and she looked at...
If you're standing next to you, it's a bayou.
She was on the way to our dinner table, and she looked at our Christmas tree and looked down and saw our little people nativity scene. Well,
which had been played with by Butcher Baker and Queso Maker's children when they were here, and we had never really kind of fixed anything. We just kind of put it off to the side.
And so she recognized it as a manger scene, and she looked at it, and she looked back at Robyn, and she looked back at it, and she looked up at Robyn, and she said, "What's wrong with your Jesus thing?" And pointed to it.
She just pointed.
What's wrong with your Jesus thing? Because I know it ain't supposed to look like that.
She just looked at it and said, "What's wrong with your Jesus thing?" And I was like, "My Jesus thing." And then I looked at it when she was pointing at it. I was like, "Oh, the nativity scene."
So, fast forward.
What's wrong with your Jesus thing?
To dinner. We're eating dinner. And we are having a wonderful time. I'm at the head of the table. Mr. Chris is at the other end. Elin is beside him. My wife is here. My daughters are here. I think Blaze is beside his mama. Mm-hmm. And Miss Elin did not want to eat her cheese. And Chris,
she had made a big deal about getting the cheese. So, she needed to eat her cheese.
Yeah. And so her and her daddy were having a discussion.
About her eating the cheese. And finally, the discussion went from a discussion to their magic phrase. Single dad parenting. That's exactly what it went to.
Single dad parenting. He didn't raise his voice.
Nope.
He didn't change his tone.
Nope.
It was just like how I'm talking to you right now.
Nope.
He looks at Elin. He says, "You better eat this cheese or I'm going to punch you in the eye."
She was like, okay. She ate her cheese.
And so she ate her cheese. And I was like, that escalated quickly.
But it never did. It was just it's their little catchphrase.
Yeah.
Look. I'm not playing with you anymore. Mm-hmm. The discussion is over. Eat your cheese.
Yep. That is no different. That catchphrase for them is no different than when I look at my girls and I say heel.
Yeah, yeah, it's their own little.
It's their
jargon. Love language. Yeah, right, and it's just it's hilarious because he looked at it and he wasn't stern. Mm-mm. He just said, "You need to eat your cheese or I'm gonna punch you in the eye." And I was like, "Wow!" And she just put her head. She's like, "Okay."
She just ate her cheese.
Then she ate her cheese.
She knows, just like after hanging out with them for a while. That's
his phrase.
That's one of his phrases. Jason. One of his phrases. But another one of their things, and I haven't figured out exactly what it means yet, is when he's really putting his foot down, when he's had enough, he says milkshake.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't want to learn what that means because Chris is not a small guy. Mm-mm. And he looks like he can take care of himself. I mean, he's a Marine, I don't know. I think I could take him. But still, when he looks at her and says, milkshake.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it often. I think I've only heard it twice in all the times, or maybe even just the one time. Yeah, dear CPS. Yeah, no, that's what I was getting ready to say is, like he was saying earlier, I don't know if y'all were watching the chat, but Chris said in the chat earlier, Jason, you need to eat your cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, it's just a thing. He'll say, you know, do this or I'll punch you in the eye. So like he was getting ready to leave and he said something and he was like, or I'll punch you in the eye. And so that's just like his thing. So it wasn't really, hey, Bandana Grandma.
Yeah. So it was really great to have. I love when we get the opportunity to hang out with Chris and Elin. Now,
you thought you could take Daryl.
I can take Daryl when I'm ready. When you ambush somebody and sneak the bill out from underneath them.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, I love hanging out with Chris. Mm-hmm. And it's, yes, Chris and I, just like Jeremiah and I, we have the Marine thing. But it goes deeper
than that. Get in your lane. Yeah, that's ours.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane. Get in your lane.
It goes deeper than that because the three of us, Chris, Jeremiah, and myself, we love Christ. Mm-hmm. We love God. We live for God. And we have absolutely no problem telling you about it. And we have that camaraderie also. And I just, and it's like when we hang out with the Shoemakers.
You got it, Kathleen.
Or Caddy Wampus or Two Family or Bandana Grandma when we get to see her, we have these relationships that we have developed over time with the different conferences and stuff that we have an absolute wonderful time with. So here we are. We're day 4 into 2020, and unfortunately, we did have to spend some money to get.
But that's not what this project is about.
Right, but
we never presumed to say we weren't going to have to get hay or minerals for our animals. Right. Certainly, you would not want us to neglect our animals just to prove a point.
Right. But I wanted my. You're going to interrupt me.
But I will tell you this. When we finished catching her and we were coming down the road to go get the stuff at Tractor Supply, I was going to go pull into the gas station to get something to drink. And because that's our habit. And I went to pull in and he goes, no, we got this. We can do this. And I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, we can't do that. And he's like, well, you've got a bottle of water down here. Do you just want to drink out of it? I was like, yes, please. I really do need water. It's not just like a habit thing. I really need something to drink.
Well, I also think because I was like this close, I caught myself because I was like, yeah, let's go get a drink.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we do that as comfort.
I don't know. I seriously was thirsty, like super thirsty. You saw me drink. Now, that water was gone in like 5 seconds.
Right. But I think a lot of it, just like how I stress eat so I don't lose my temper or go over the top with the kids when they really start to aggravate me. I just put food in my mouth and I eat. I swallow my anger. I think that there are times, and I know this for a fact. I know you may not want to be there ready to admit it, but when we're traveling or we're going somewhere or doing something, if we get into a disagreement or a little fuss spat, we don't pass the next gas station. We stop. You get either a water or a cherry Coke.
I mean, I guess maybe in that instance, but there are times when it's not even that. It's just habit. Like, I feel like we can't go past the gas station going towards Athens to not stop at that one in the corner.
That's not we.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, when I go...
Okay, hold on. I'm about to have to stress eat, it looks like, because it looks like my son may have drove his truck into the pond.
Nuh-uh. No.
It's been there for a good bit.
Now, I saw Wanderlust and Brett going back and forth. Mm-hmm. Brett was saying, is it because we're not military? Yet now, I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. We've spent more time on Marco Polo with them today than we probably have talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Now, Wanderlust, we have neglected Wanderlust. We have not talked to them in a while. We have been super busy, but I need to reach out to them. So, yeah, habits are... See, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, but he backed up. He was...
So, habits are hard to change. Like, that's really... And that's something... So, like, that's the thing I'm stressing about with my grandmother. If my grandmother passes away, then what? Because I don't know that we're prepared yet to be able to make a 10-hour drive up and a 10-hour drive back without having to stop somewhere. Yeah. That, I don't know that I can do that. And so, that's...
But we may just have to look at the shoemakers and go, I know you guys were planning on going west, but we really need you guys to go north with us. And,
I don't know. But...
Take us to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, here it's Casey's gas station. You better plan for 15 minutes, 20 minutes to visit. Wow. You haven't talked to Cheryl in over 80 days?
Wow. She started talking to you, and she doesn't want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would totally play a tiny violin, Sherry. What is that about?
Oh, because he's being a little whiny little baby.
Trying to find a... He just took the blocks out.
What blocks?
The two...
Well, where'd he put them?
Mineral and salt. He took them out to the back. Are you guys friends with the Rhodes? They look like they travel with their own food. No, friends. We're not friends. We don't know them very well. I'll be your wingman. How about making a kit with water, beef jerky, and some nuts? We don't have any beef to do jerky with right now. We don't have nuts. We're not buying anything. So having to make our own stuff, I just don't know that we're
I'm going to go yet. Hopefully be able to, because
up to Pennsylvania, Niana.
The shoemakers are supposed to be coming to visit again tomorrow. And I may just grab Paul and make him carry my trapping basket. And
oh, that's the only reason you started talking to me is because Jason stopped talking to you. Now my heart is...
And go set some beaver traps. Plus, I got called out on Facebook locally. Mm-hmm. Some guys looking to try to get rid of some beavers.
Some beavers, yeah.
And so I may see if, maybe he has hay that I could barter.
Travel, yeah.
Trapping some beaver for some hay. Stuff
and see,
like that.
Now if we caught some beaver, we could make some...
A bunch of jerky.
Absolutely, I would trade soap for walnuts. Yes, I would.
Oh, and we made our first barter, by the way, for this Big Plans 2020.
Yes, we do have a dehydrator. But that's what I was saying. If we
made two barters.
If we caught a beaver, we could make jerky pretty quickly.
Yep.
That would not be a problem. But we don't have any red meat right now. Our red meat's out in the pasture, so we're not quite there yet for the jerky. Yes, we have had beaver jerky before, and it is amazing. So I'm not worried about, if we had a beaver, we could definitely make jerky.
Yeah, the first couple of beavers is going to be straight. See, I was going to go try to set beaver traps today because I knew they were coming. Mm-hmm. And so I would have a beaver in the morning.
To be able to show them, yeah.
To be able to show them how to skin it out and cut it up. And we would grind some up and have beaver burgers that night because they want to taste beaver. But I had the drama with Daisy, this today, and it just... Didn't happen.
Canned deer meat and beaver, yeah.
You're going to have to come down and give us a class on canning meat, Chris. I'm very nervous about doing that. I know you say that it is... hold on, come here. Where did you put those blocks?
Underneath the barn.
Okay. It was just, why were you stopped right there so long? You got stuck, didn't you?
No, to get the gate.
It, from our perspective, because of where everything is, it looked like you were literally almost down in the pond.
I was there for a few minutes because I went and picked up the impact and stuff the first time. I came back twice.
Oh, okay.
I came back from doing the fence, come up, got the blocks, went out.
Yeah, but I mean, your headlight was just like right there, and I thought
it literally looked like you were almost in the water. Like that's why I was like, "Are you okay?" Let's see, Robyn. Do you know anyone to trap beavers for you? If not, I'll come do it for you.
man's got jokes. But anyway, in all seriousness, I am very nervous about canning meat. Because there's so many things that could go wrong. Why are you looking at it like that? Have you ever canned meat before?
I haven't, but
Okay.
I've watched enough to know that it's really not that difficult. It's just having the knowledge. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, do you never watch my videos?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Mimsy cans a lot of stuff. Chris has done several videos on how to do it. So there's a lot of information out there to be able to do it. It's just a matter of getting the right information. That's all.
Yeah.
Pressure canner, ball blue book. You can't go wrong with canning meat as long as everything's sterilized. Yeah. That's the big kicker, is making sure that those jars are sterilized before you put everything in. Because if you introduce any bacteria into that jar, then you can have a problem. But I was watching, who was it I was watching that was doing, or no, he was telling us about, Chris was telling us about canning his chicken, that he's going to can the chicken. And the thing is when you can it, you put the liquid in there, you still have the bone broth. And so then when you pull the chicken out to be able to use the chicken meat, then you can take the bone broth and put it off to the side to be able to use. So yeah, Butcher Baker, Queso Maker, I knew that. They canned their pig so that they could take, when they processed their pig, they brought it on the trip. So that's what they've had. So I don't think we have the ball blue book, do we?
I don't know.
I really don't think.
I don't know, but this is like the fourth time I've been trying to say this.
I don't really care. Like, you see the face. It's not.
We made 2 official barters.
2?
2. One you know about, one you don't.
Family Roots Farm, welcome. She said, I love listening to you guys. I cannot write often. I'm always nursing my 3-month-old baby while listening. She's learning a lot at an early age. Good for you. Awesome.
We made the very first barter kind of early this morning with Broussard Homestead. We are trading some mouse traps for their elderberry syrup because on the news, we got some warnings about our area with the flu being super bad, and they've already lost some children and some other people.
No, we have not sold the Jeep.
And so they're going to hook us up with some of their elderberry kits.
Yes.
And we will be doing a video on their, basically like a product review, and showing how we make it by following their directions.
No, I'm not a Gemini. I'm a Cancer.
Most definitely.
Yeah, the flu is not, it's a big, what did we hear? There's like thousands of cases.
Yeah. And
there were at least like 20 to 30 children that have died.
Right.
And in our area, it's pretty bad. Like they almost shut down the school because there were so many kids out sick. So it was like, we know that we're fixing to have, and then the thing is we don't want to tell people you can't come to our house.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we stay healthy so that we don't get anybody sick and so that we don't receive any sickness from anybody. So basically what we've done is we reached out to them and said, hey, what would you need for us to be able to get to get some elderberry kits. Because I'll tell you, the one that we got, the reason why I'm feeling better is that after a while, everybody said, why aren't you taking elderberry? And I was like, well, crap, we don't have any. And then, of course, Brett's like, yeah, you do. I sent you a kit. And I'm like, oh, crap. So we had to go find it. And we got it.
You made it sound so bad, like we had to go searching for it. Like we were like,
no, it was,
they gave us an elderberry kit.
No, it was in a box with the stuff that and then it got put up around here somewhere, and I just had to go find it. So we went and got it, and I made the syrup, put the honey in there, and I'll be honest, like I was like, this is gonna taste horrible, this is gonna taste horrible, this is gonna taste horrible, but I tried it, and it's really good. Like there's nothing wrong with it at all.
I'm trying to get their single dad, she just won't let me.
So anyway, we're going to get the kits from them. We're gonna barter the mouse traps and then probably some soap or whatever.
And our second barter came later today from Single Dad Homestead. He has a tankless propane water heater that he is putting up, plus his knowledge and his labor, and I think some copper wire. Anyway,
he's gonna help us get the bathroom squared away so that we can have a shower and hot water heater on propane. And he's also going to help
get our stove that was donated to us by a lovely subscriber
who's been in here,
who wants to try to kidnap my dog, but ain't gonna happen. He's gonna help us set up some 100-gallon tanks
to be able to put that in so that we'll have the oven.
So then we will be another step closer to not only being...
You left your pork here, so that's really not a fair...
Sustainable.
Oh, she's right.
Can I finish?
Whoa. Sorry.
Stuff, and like he's saying, we're not officially done with the barter yet, but we are going to, when we butcher one of the steers out there, half of it goes to Chris. What did you barter Minzy Garden for?
Now I'm drawing a blank because I can't remember, because it was important too. Refresh my memory, Anna. It was about, because I was asking her about soap. What was it?
Look at that. Arlington Family Farm LLC. We saved about $900 on propane a year with our tankless.
God, what did she... Oh, it's driving me crazy because I was like, yeah, I'll just send you some soap and you can...
Make her write it down or put it in text messages.
No. Don't tell them, Robyn, but we win.
Robyn don't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
Did you do it on Marco Polo? Then just go back and look at your Marco Polos. And so, that's the thing, folks. If you have a trade, that's the big thing. And I should have done this when we had like 70 plus people in here. We need your help. In all seriousness, with all of this Daisy stuff going down, we need y'all's help. We need to do a old-fashioned Amish style barn raising. I want to build a 1 or 2, maybe even a 3-stall barn with a little milking shed on the side of it. So then that way I can milk the milk cows right there. I can keep the cows that are in milk in the stalls and in little paddocks around that once we get it all cleared out from the goats and everything, because that's where the goats and stuff are going to go first. And then we can start laying down the trees and stuff in there. But I'd like to get this thing up as fast and as sturdy and as correctly as I can. And the more hands on deck, the faster it will get up. So I would like to start to throw this out about what time of year y'all think it would be best for y'all to come and do it. Springtime is the time that I'm thinking, because right now this is our wet season.
Nothing's gonna set right now.
February is going to get super cold, and then March and April everybody's planting, so maybe
just a run-in barn.
Maybe around. Maybe that's what we do
on our thing.
On Memorial Day weekend.
On May 31st. We just have, or whatever day it's gonna.
We will feed you. If you guys, some folks need a place to stay, we'll figure something out. You got Blaze's barn that's got 2 lofts that we can put folks in.
Central North Carolina, what's up?
We've got, bunk beds in Dessa's room, Carol's room. We got lots of places to pitch tents if you guys have tents. So I really would appreciate any assistance that we could get with that, labor-wise and expertise-wise. I know I'm going to have to twist Wanderlust's arm to get them to come down
May 25th this year
to help. I have a book, barns, sheds, and stuff that has the plans of the one that I want in it. It's almost like what we had.
Get your plans finalized and materials on site.
And so.
Cattle panel barns. Not May. That's the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah.
What time is when is the Strawberry Festival though? I have to find out.
Maybe we can talk. I wear aprons into coming down.
She can process some stuff with us.
I would love to be able to afford to hire eyewear aprons for them to come down and give a butchering processing class.
They're going to Charleston, South Carolina that week.
Because I have tasted what...
Need me to come and lend a hand on something? If you're still here.
What they process, and their stuff is so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Throwing this out there, but the Dollar Tree is starting to put out their planting pot. Yes, I saw that. What's the approximate size of the barn going to be?
Okay. Up there is the book about barn sheds.
Animal housing?
Animal housing. I think it's like a blue one up there maybe. Where's the animal housing one? Let me see it. Should have been right there with it. Let me see that. It might be in that. I can't remember. I thought it was in the blue one.
Chicken coops. Containers.
You okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's in this. What is it right here? No, that's a chicken. It's a big honking chicken coop. And she left the door wide open. Okay. They're calling it a large stable, but it's something along that line. Right here. Preferably that would be something along this line right here. Because at any given point in time, we will have at least probably 2 cows in milk, let alone the number of dairy goats and stuff that we may have going in and out. And then one of these, I'd like to have it as a milking barn or a milking room to be able to. That way I could just lead them right out of the stall into the milking room, let them get milked, let them come out, wander around in the grass for a little bit, put them up in the barn, give them some hay,
Heifer hut.
and be able to keep like wood chips and stuff down on the floor, so that way I can then put it into a compost pile. Yeah, I know it's going to be pretty expensive.
Jesus, that big? That's huge.
That's what she said.
We don't need one that big.
Think about it. At any given don't do that. Don't do that. Put on a happy face. Put on a happy face.
No, I refuse to, because I know what you're fixing to say.
What am I fixing to say?
Just say what you're going to say.
No, what am I fixing to say? What am I fixing to say? What am I fixing to say? Ooh, what am I fixing to say? Daisy in milk, Delma in milk, goats in milk, sheep in milk, dairy room, or milking stall, and then the dairy room to be able to store all the stuff that we're not using at that particular time. Then we don't need this room, but this is where this could be all hay. This can be where we store the milking machine. So really, milking machine, store room, feed room, just like that.
Yeah.
Now they may not be as wide. We don't probably need the.
Well, now, but this is where I kind of feel like we're gonna. I believe that with responsible breeding, we won't necessarily have to have all of that. And you're saying sheep and goats. It's one or the other right now.
Well, that's why I'm only want to build this once, baby.
No, I get that, but if I'm going to do that, I don't need all three animals in milk at the same time.
Well,
that's way too much.
At any particular point in time, you have the possibility of having all three overlapping. It may only be for a month. It may only be for... Did we miss a super chat?
It just came in. Robyn's about to lay the smackdown on you, Jason.
Dragon.
Yeah, I know. Cattywampus says no matter how big you make it, you'll always use it. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid of that, though. I feel like...
Well, we could park the tractor in there.
I feel like we have, just like I was saying about everything else, we have to be intentional about everything. Mm-hmm. One of the questions that came out is the area cleaned up to be able to build it? No, it's not. So that has to be done first. And I don't, as far as when animals are going to be, because you're talking about being able to keep them in there to calf or to have their babies, right?
Yes.
Right. So the stalls are for them because one milking station is all we need.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many animals.
Right. One milking station is all we need. But I want to take a second and I want to say thank you to Dragons Talent again. Bro, you bless us way too much. I love you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Love you.
Yeah, see, and I think that's kind of what he was saying, is the 3 stalls and then the room. You could have some quarantine hospital stalls. See, but that's what I'm saying is add a lean-to to the shop.
I'm just thinking there's not much that we can do over in that area anyway. So I might as well have a good functioning stall barn that we could... I mean, I didn't even think about that. Whoever said quarantine.
That's Kathleen.
And
I don't know that I'd want a hospital/quarantine barn close to where my babies are being born, though.
Right.
I feel like I'd want that somewhere else.
And another thing that we could do, is if, let's just say that something happened out of our control. that we had the bull with Daisy. Daisy got pregnant, but Ty's bull got out. Came in and serviced Delma at approximately the same time. So now we got both cows in milk at the same time. We've already had it in the plans to take half of the pig nursery and turn it into a cow nursery. So that's where one at a time they would go to have their babies. That's where the calf would stay after.
Right.
So then that way the girls can feed the calf, bottle feed the calf in there. And then you have this other stall where we don't have to be running Daisy around. And then when we don't want the bull with them, that's a place where he can go, because we could probably, once we clear a bunch of that out, we can probably mark some of it off as pasture land, because we can't grow anything over there because we know it's already very shallow when it comes to stone and rock and granite over there. The only thing really we're going to be able to grow is some type of a pasture grass or turf grass. But, like Chris said, though, we could build it as we go.
He just said he'll dry something up. Not much, but we love you. We love you too, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That is something very cool. Did you just notice that?
What?
Well, the whole reason why I said, wait a minute, whoa, did we miss a super chat? Is because the $ down there, it flashes. It started flashing, and then it went up here first before it even came up in the chat.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dawn. Thank you so very much.
Robyn, I'm sure you can also put in a spare bedroom in the barn for Jason when he's in the doghouse. Absolutely.
And see, and that's something else that, all joking aside, Dragon's Talon's 1,000% correct. We could throw a little
well, the other
mother-in-law suite so we could put my
be...
mama in there.
Well, no, but what it could be, like I've noticed, because I've been talking with Cheryl lately, she's going through lambing right now, and it would probably be nice to have a place that you could bed down instead of having to run back and forth from the barn to the house to check on them. It would be nice to just have an area where you could just, Yeah.
And this is definitely one of the next discussions and stuff that we're going to have, but we definitely need to get a barn up for situations like what we got going on right now.
Good night, Cheryl.
Because the barn, or whatever that building was or is back there,
it was it was just a horse stall. It wasn't even like a barn. It was literally just a couple of stalls to put horses or cattle in if they needed to. And it was probably like a quarantine-ish kind of thing, or a place for a mama to have babies before, to be able to pen her up. Because there's also a head gate or a chute over there to where you could put a head gate in. So it's obviously Little Garden Big Dreams. Hello.
From Australia.
Breakaway Homesteader decided to show up.
Oh, wait a minute. Does that say from
Australia? From us in Australia.
How are you doing down there, Little Garden Big Dreams? Are you safe? And for those of you that don't know it, the entire continent of Australia is just about on fire.
Yeah, they're having huge fire issues.
So we have the continent of Australia. We have it up on our prayer wall. And, I loved Australia when I was there. There were two places that I was going to finally retire at if I didn't get married. And that was either going to be Thailand or Australia. So, wonderful people down there. And so if you guys could pray for them, pray for those folks.
Down in Australia. I did say down, because they are technically from us.
Yeah, and they're entering their summer right now, or they're in their summer right now. And do you realize that we've been on for an hour and a half?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
We spent 10 minutes talking to people who weren't listening. That's why I didn't stop you, because I was like,
Well, I mean, I don't think that timer really started then.
It did.
No, it was still.
Oh, I mean, I'm looking at the 9:38. Yeah, so it was an hour and a half because we were on for 8 minutes. But, well, we weren't really on for 8 minutes, but.
Yeah. So, I am safe here, guys, but the fires.
My state are there, and there are many that have lost their homes, farms, animals. Such a terrible time there. Is the situation with aid as bad as...
Yeah, that's in...
What we were watching, it looked like the aid in some areas is not very good at all.
They have... correct me if I'm wrong, Little
Garden.
Big Dreams. But y'all have a Wales there also, correct? Because I think the video or the newscast that we saw, the Prime Minister was in Wales. I think it was Little Wales or something. Wales.
I don't know. He was visiting somewhere.
And the people there were fussing at him.
They were really upset because they don't get any aid.
Yeah.
Like, Sydney's getting aid. Everybody else is getting aid, but they're not getting any at all.
Yeah.
So I was just curious just how much of that is actually propaganda, or because he didn't look like they didn't really like him very much. I was on a different live waiting.
But Little Garden, Big Dreams, if you guys... New South Wales, that's it. If you guys do have to evacuate and you need a place to go, our homestead is open. I mean, I know that's a very long trip to take, but I don't know where else you guys are going to really be able to go. I don't know if you have family in England or anywhere else, but you are more than welcome to come here and crash forever how long you need. We'll put you to work, and, that's, the offer is there. If you come stateside and you need a place, our place is open.
Yeah. New South Wales. Yeah, it was rough to watch.
Yeah.
Because they were furious. They're all losing houses and animals and food and.
But this is a rough time everywhere in the world right now.
Yep.
And this is I believe with my heart that this is one of the reasons why the Lord placed this 2020 challenge on our heart.
Yes.
Was to motivate everybody to start to grow your own food, start to try to live a more sustainable, self-sufficient lifestyle, because things are going to happen beyond our control that are going to have the Lord's people in a hurt locker.
Yes, it was in Cabargo. There are a lot of angry people in Australia that feel not enough has been done, but the people are banding together to raise funds and help out. Okay.
Awesome. We've got the tensions with Iran and Iraq and possible, a lot of folks are saying this is going to kick off World War III. I don't know about that. But, it's definitely going to make a rise in gas prices, because that kind of stuff, anytime something
That's
flares,
already happened. The oil's already been an issue, yeah.
Yeah. Anytime something flares up in the Middle East, gas prices go up. When gas prices go up, food prices go up. You also have some states, like I saw on the news, California is raising the minimum wage again to like $15.75, $15.25, and I don't know how they're doing it, because they are a broke state as it is.
Rustic Tradition said, I'm really worried about summer when it comes in 5 months here in Florida. Last summer was so hot, and it's supposed to get worse.
Yeah. And see, so please, by all means, start looking at what you can do to become more self-sufficient. Because, let's just be honest, if our government was actually helpful, it wouldn't be able to help all of us.
We totally forgot to do something.
What?
We were going to give away some seed catalogs.
Yeah, we forgot that.
All right, so...
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Next week, if you're on the email list, you got to get on the email list. But we have 2. Mm-hmm. We have 2 of these to give away next Saturday. The only people that are eligible are the folks that are on our email list. So get on that email list. It doesn't cost you a dime. All you have to do is send an email to bigbearfarms@hotmail.com and say, please put me on your email list. Can I be on the list? Please. And we will, boom, put you on the email list, and then you will get an email with the instructions to make you eligible for the whole seed catalog giveaway. Now, I'll be honest with you, one of them is probably going to look like it has been gone through.
No.
That's because I have not really, this is the first time I've gotten to touch this book.
I'll let you touch mine.
Well, tonight at Big Bear Homestead, the mood just changed and it just got a whole lot better for the fat guy.
We already have 2 of those and 3 free ones. Well, good. I'm glad you. We only need 1, so we're going to give away the other 2.
Right.
So,
bam, whole seed catalog.
I'm in Australia and I even ordered that seed catalog.
Up for grabs. There's going to be 2 of them. So get on that email list. And
Jason, don't forget that the Federal Reserve is putting in close to $1 trillion into the bank repo markets over the last 6 months, which shows a huge problem in the economy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be rough. Good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Robyn, when are your oil videos going to start up again? I don't know yet. I don't know.
I'm just going to sit over here while you answer that question, drinking my new tea. We have lowered the sugar content in the tea out of my Mimsy's Garden cup. Because I don't have them.
They accidentally send more than one a lot of the times. Last year we got 2 or 3 of the free ones. Mm-hmm. This year, they're having so many problems with shipping stuff. Like, the copy that I have isn't even from them. It was actually given to me by Sydney and his wife, the Naked Gardener. They did that. So,
well, it's a very hot item, and we honestly believe our new mail carrier
took it.
Yeah,
because I never received the single one that was mine. And the thing is, it would have, I don't know how they came packaged, but it could have possibly been packaged just like this. And if they saw what it is, it didn't, But I have 2 of these to give away, so we will definitely do a giveaway through the email. So make sure that you're getting the outdoor shower together. Nice.
Yep. Well, that's because it's their anniversary on the 14th.
Oh,
awesome sauce.
Nice.
That is very cool, which is in 10 days. So he has 10 days to get that outdoor shower.
So anyway, we will be sending out what the rules and stuff are for that through the email list. So if you're not on the email list, make sure that you send it to us, bigbearfarms@hotmail.com, and we'll hook it up.
Yep. Robyn and I want to say thank you to everybody that was here tonight.
They came in plastic wrap, so absolutely she would have seen. She would have seen it.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. What a great time. I don't know. You guys really lifted spirits tonight, because I know I could just tell by her body language and her tone in her voice. Y'all helped lift her back up tonight, at least for the last hour plus. She didn't seem like she was worried about grandmom that much. And so I am very, very thankful and appreciative to you guys for helping lift Robyn up. Jake Evans, please be safe. Eves, sorry. And I want to thank our super chats tonight again.
I literally squealed out loud. out loud in the UPS store when I pick up my mail.
For when you got your seed catalog?
Yeah. Yeah. Don Goff and Dragon's Talon, thank you so much.
Yes.
For that. We came for Robyn.
I love how I started that off and you take over.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dawn and Dragon's Talon, thank you guys so very much for your blessing that you placed on us tonight. Thank you very much. We thoroughly appreciate it with all of our heart. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And Robyn and I want to remind you guys to plant smiles.
Grow giggles.
And harvest the love, baby, yeah. Be kind to one another. You don't know what that person could be going through. Pray for Australia. Pray for our nation. Pray for our president. He's still your president, whether you like him or not. And recycle, reuse, repurpose, keep stuff out of the landfill, and keep on striving to becoming self-sufficient.
Yep.
And Robyn and I will see you guys next week. If not, an impromptu live stream when we just want to because we love you.
That's
Night,
it.
guys.
Good night, y'all.